Time now for business news. Nona Peltier joins me again in the studio. Thanks, Nona. More generally, let's talk about how New Zealanders are reacting to the spread of the COVID-19 virus.
Yeah, so one of the biggest research companies in New Zealand has done a survey over the past weekend asking New Zealanders how they're feeling about it. And you would have thought they'd be most concerned about their health, but no, they're more concerned about their pocketbook. In fact, about, a third are concerned that this will lead to an economic recession and what that might mean to them. So I spoke with the chief executive of a company called Kantar New Zealand, Jason Shoebridge, and he says that, yes, the COVID-19 virus is weighing heavily on New Zealanders' mind, even though it hasn't yet reached epidemic proportions here. And this is what he had to say.
I expect if we went out now and did this research, we'd find that people are more fearful in general, but I think we'd still see the same result, that people are more fearful about the economic, or New Zealanders are more fearful about the economic impact as opposed to getting sick. I mean, since we've done this research, we've obviously had 4 or 5 days of, continual economic bad news, as you say, culminating today with the US shutting their borders to travellers from Europe. So I think what we would see is a similar pattern, that people are more concerned about economic recession than getting sick, but we would see in general heightened sense of fear, I guess, in terms of all of those aspects.
And that's Jason Shoebridge there of Kantar Research in New Zealand. So what happened on the markets? Lots of things to this afternoon in a very short period of time.
Talk us through this. Give us a big picture first.
Okay, so we are in bear market territory. We talked about that before. So the correction is at like a 10% drop. This is like we're talking 20%. This is massive drop. And it's happened very quickly. And what really sort of set it off was, well, first of all, earlier this morning we had the World Health Organization talk about this now becoming a pandemic. And then yesterday we missed out on hearing about the economic, package that the U.S. was going to announce. They didn't come up with that yesterday. That upset the markets. Today, we heard more about what the economic package was, but that was totally overshadowed by the announcement that travel ban between Europe and the United States. And so people focused on that. And in addition, that they heard that this was going to also affect cargo and so on. That was corrected in a tweet by Donald Trump later. But the damage had already been done, and the sentiment definitely turned sour. So what we saw in the Asia-Pacific area is a very quick reaction. And the New Zealand market finished down 5%, as we'd heard earlier. The ASX 200, which is the key market indicator there at the Australian Stock Exchange, it's been going from like 7% down to 5% down and back and forth, which indicates there's probably some profit taking there. Certainly there must be some bargain hunters around as well, because there's, it's moving back and forth. And look, I honestly can't say what's going to happen through the rest of the trading day, because it's still early days in terms of early hours of the trading day, which finishes up in New York. But you can expect the futures and everything else is really at rock bottom. The Asian markets are at their lowest levels since early 2019. So we've lost everything that we gained in the past year. Stock futures were down more than 4.5%. And the markets are expecting worse side effects as Europe opens, because, of course,
it's them
heavily impacted. Yes, of course.
So the final number on close was what?
Okay, so the final number was the drop of 540 points. That's the 5%. 10,333 is our finishing number. And, surprisingly, though, our currency is holding fairly steady at 62.6 US cents, 96.8 Australian and 48.8 British pence. And I'm sure this isn't the last market report we're going to hear in the next 24 hours.
No, busy days ahead. Thank you, Nona. Nona Peltier with our business wrap.